Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to iTouch App Reviewers. In this video, I have a pretty important one for you guys that are thinking about upgrading to the iPhone 10. I kind of want to give you a kind of final overview of the iPhone 8, iPhone 8 Plus, and the iPhone 10, and whether or not you should actually wait for the iPhone 10 or just go pick up an iPhone 8 now, or possibly get an iPhone 7. So allow me to explain in this video. So we are just over a week away from the iPhone 10 pre-order, and a lot of people are getting their wallets ready, getting excited, as am I, but not everyone necessarily needs an iPhone 10. They could be just fine with an iPhone 8 or even an iPhone 7. So some interesting stories that I found today. One is that the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus production will reportedly drop nearly 50% when the iPhone 10 launches, which will be on November 3rd. So that's pretty much, Apple knows that once the iPhone 10's out, most people are not going to be wanting to get the iPhone 8. The iPhone 8 and 8 Plus are there right now to help with the demand of people that need to upgrade their phones but don't necessarily want top-end specs, and they don't want to wait for the iPhone 10. So they put out the iPhone 8 to kind of grab in some of those sales. However, the sales have been pretty poor. Well, actually, we don't necessarily know that because Apple hasn't revealed the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus sales numbers, but we can assume that they are pretty low because it's just not a groundbreaking phone, and a lot of people are holding out for the iPhone 10. It's like, you don't want to release something and expect a ton of sales if you got something better coming out the next month. Like, you just don't do that. So Apple kind of just pushed this out there, and honestly, it's a great phone, but I don't necessarily think it's worth it for most people. I actually read something today. I can't remember where I read it, but it said that the iPhone 7 is actually selling better than the iPhone 8 right now. And that's probably because of the huge price difference and marginal phone difference. So on the outside, they look pretty much the same. You lose the wireless charging and the better cameras, but honestly, you're not losing out on much with the iPhone 7. The iPhone 7 is still a great phone. The iPhone 8 is a great phone as well, but for the money, it's honestly just not worth it to a lot of people. A lot of people can't fathom paying, that amount of money, like $700-800 for a phone that looks just like the 7 and is relatively similar. Now, the internals are completely different. It's a lot faster, but a lot of people just don't need that. A lot of people are fine with the 7 and 7 Plus. They just think it's, it's fast enough, and it is a very fast phone. So I actually see that side of the argument now a little bit clearer. Now that the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus have been out for a while, it's pretty clear that the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus are actually a really good deal now. If you are someone that's not a power user necessarily, or you don't have to have the best of the best. Now, if you do have to have the best of the best, you're going to want the iPhone 10. And with that in mind, it's like, who's the iPhone 8 for? Like, if you're not a power user, just get an iPhone 7 or 7 Plus. And if you are a power user and you want the best of the best, just get an iPhone 10. So that's why the iPhone 8 sales, I think, are suffering. Hopefully, Apple will release some of their numbers and stuff for this phone just to kind of see how the market's taking it. I don't think it's selling too well. So now on to the iPhone 10, which is the big topic that everyone's talking about right now, and everyone is getting prepared to buy and pay for it because this thing is crazy expensive. But with that in mind, there's a lot of new features on this phone. So if you're looking at the iPhone 8 thinking, man, I got an upgrade, I don't know, like, I'm kind of a power user, like I'm on Twitter and Instagram and all the social media all day, I don't know which one to get. Honestly, that might be a case for the iPhone 8. If you are someone that just maybe doesn't have $1,200 to spend on a phone, and you don't really want an iPhone 7 because you want, top-notch quality with the camera and stuff, I know the iPhone 10 is slightly better, but for the price difference, it's negligible for most people. So if you're kind of on that fence, yeah, maybe the iPhone 8 works for you. If you've got an upgrade available, even though a lot of people don't know this, you're still paying for the phone, you're just paying in increments. But yeah, if you're due for an upgrade and you don't want to wait for the iPhone 10, then maybe the iPhone 8 is for you. However, for everyone else that wants the best of the best and wants the latest and greatest by Apple, the iPhone 10 is definitely for you if you have the money and if you can fathom paying, close to $1,200 for a phone. But again, it is going to be an awesome phone to see for sure. And a lot of people are not going to be able to get it. You're going to miss out on it probably for the pre-order, so you're going to have to actually wait. But there have been reports, if you go watch a couple of videos back, of Apple actually ramping up supply and getting their shit together, basically, because they had supposedly some big issues manufacturing the pieces in this notch, for the flood illuminator and the IR camera and stuff. But now apparently they've got it all sorted out, and they are ramping up production by the end of October. So What does this mean for consumers? This means if you guys actually want one of these and you miss pre-order date, you might be able to get one in December. Probably not in November. My guess is they will be sold out for at least most of November, if not all of November. But by December, you might be able to actually get one. Good luck, though. There's no guarantees there. And yeah, so I would recommend if you guys want one of these, definitely pre-order. So set a timer for 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, wherever your time zone is. For Eastern time zone, it's 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, October 27th to pre-order. And yeah, so the iPhone 10, what's new about it? Well, there's a lot. There's no home button. It's got Face ID, not Touch ID. It's got a better screen. It's got obviously the A11 Bionic chip, which is similar in well, it's not similar. It's the exact same in the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. It's got 3 gigs of RAM, supposedly just like the iPhone 8 Plus. But overall, it's just a whole new design. Well, relatively new design, and it just looks really good from pretty much all angles. The bezels are very minimal, are on the sides. I mean, there's hardly any. The screen to body ratio is crazy. It's like 92%, I think. And then the notch, it's controversial. I don't mind it that much. And then the actual metal band, if you guys want to go watch the other video that I made on that, explaining the different colors for the bands, they look really good as well. So Face ID, controversial issue. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people think it's the future, so we'll just have to see there. Honestly, I think it will be fine. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it'll be all right. And then obviously they're using it for Apple Pay, everything, facial tracking, nothing too crazy there. Just some gimmicks kind of. But the new camera sensors, dual optical image stabilization on both cameras. So they're both going to be optically image stabilized instead of just software stuff. So that's a huge deal for people that especially use the telephoto lens on that. Now the internals again are really good. And of course it has wireless charging, which the iPhone 8 has as well. So I think the iPhone 10 is really the monumental leap for Apple. They are making a statement with this. I think they're really going to be using this as a platform for the future, for their future phones. So the iPhone 7, the iPhone 8, all that, it kind of looks antiquated and old already. Like 2017 is the year of the bezel-less phone. A lot of phone manufacturers towards the end of the year, second half of the year, are making phones without bezels. And that is kind of the trend here. And that's what makes the phone look futuristic. So if you want to have, the most futuristic, you got to get the iPhone 10 if you're looking for an Apple device, an iPhone. The iPhone 7 and 8, they just do look old. There's no other way to say it. It's the same design pretty much since the iPhone 6, and honestly, it's just old. So if you want something fresh, something new, you're gonna want the iPhone 10. So that's pretty much how to sum it up as best I can. It's really up to you and your budget, but definitely weigh the options. This is probably the one I'm gonna get, and it's going to cost me probably over $1,200 once taxes included and stuff like that. So yeah, but to me, definitely worth it. You guys just have to see for yourselves, is the iPhone 7, 7 Plus, 8, 8 Plus, or iPhone 10, or hell, even an SE or something else like those. One of those might work better for you. So again, just find what works for you. And yeah, so that's all I got for this video, guys. If you liked it, hit it with a big thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.